Before my flight to JFK, I decided to go to the Air China First Class Lounge, which is somewhat near my gate. It was one of 2 lounges that were included in my business class ticket. Inside the lounge, there were a lot of chairs, some magazines, private rooms, and a few snacks and drinks. Overall, a pretty nice lounge with good views of the tarmac. As I boarded the plane, the cabin was laid out in a 2-2-2 configuration, a little bit different than my 747 experience in my previous video. However, the seat was the exact same, so my review might be a little bit shorter than what it was in the previous 747 video. To the right of the seat were the magazines, the tray table, and the remote for the TV. Next to the armrest were the seat controls. Underneath the pretty large screen was a little shelf and the USB outlets with a little cubby for your phone. In the little pocket for your foot, I put my bags and stuff for storage, and the armrest was actually movable up and down in case you had the tray table over you and you needed some extra legroom. There were some headphones. They were okay in this little storage area. There was the light controls, and there was a fair amount of storage behind the seat and next to it. They also give you a pillow. The headrest was comfortable and had these little head supports, pretty normal for even an economy seat, but nice to see in a lie flat bed. And for people who like looking out windows, there are actually 2 of them. In the middle console area, there was the household outlet, and the flight attendants handed me a pair of slippers and, of course, the amenities kit. The remote was a little frustrating since it was touchscreen, and it did lag a little bit and wasn't the best technology. However, it sufficed, and this is how you would control the brightness of the screen, the volume. This is how you would change channels. There were also 3 buttons on the bottom. The middle one was the home button. The very left was the flight attendant call button, the back button, and the overhead light button. Even though it was a little frustrating, it was pretty simple to use, and it was okay. It would go back into its little cubby on the right, like I mentioned before. Behind you, where that little storage area was where you would plug in the headphones. Now, the amenities kit I already reviewed fully on my 747 video, but in a brief overview, there was the toothpaste, toothbrush, eye mask, facial wipe, and lotions and lip balm. The menu on this flight was fairly similar to my 747 flight, however, the food was not as good. I don't know why, since Air China is based in Beijing, and I thought their caterers would be better, but they really weren't. The beef was not great. The steamed vegetables were kind of hard. In the summer, there was these movie snacks, light meals, and appetizers. You choose between Western and Chinese. I did the Chinese for my first dinner, and then I did Western for my lunch the day after. Both were okay, but Air China is not known for great food. It's now time for my TRR score for the Air China 777. Beginning with the seat, the comfort was the same as my 747, and it gets the same score for a 3 out of 5 for comfort, a 4 out of 5 for cleanliness, and a 3 out of 5 for the entertainment for a 10 out of 15. The cabin is a little bit lower, but still gets a 4 out of 5 for cleanliness, and a 3 out of 5 for the layout, because they had it in a 222 instead of a, I guess, more normal business class layout of a 121. The service was basically the same. They get a 4 out of 5 for niceness and a 2 out of 5 for the food and drink, because it just wasn't great. The food was nothing special, and it just tasted bland. They get a 6 out of 10 for service. Bathroom was exactly the same, 3 out of 5 for space, and a 4 out of 5 cleanliness, bringing a 7 out of 10. Crew, exactly the same, 4 out of 5 for the crew, which brings the overall score for the Air China Boeing 777 to a 34 out of 50. The only reason it's 2 points lower than the 747 from Air China that I reviewed is because of the food. The food wasn't as great coming from Beijing. It was better coming from JFK. I don't know if the catering services that they use different ingredients. I don't know. It just wasn't as good. It was more bland. It just wasn't great, and I thought it was going to be the other way around, since Air China is mainly based in Beijing. I thought their food was going to be fantastic. It just wasn't, so that's why they get a 2 out of 5. Also, the cabin layout got less by 1 point, because on the 747, the upper deck and the bottom deck both had a 2-2 configuration, which gave the business class more room in the aisles. Overall, the business class on the 777 wasn't terrible. I would still recommend it to anyone looking for a good, fair business class for China. I just would recommend, if you have the option of going on the 747, book that over the 777, mostly because the 747 has that nostalgic feel to it. It's an amazing aircraft. But second, because I just found it to be better. Thanks for watching, and tune in for my next video, which should be posted in around 3 or 4 weeks, depending on how busy my schedule is, and thanks for watching.